Living Leesburg. My name is Renee. We're so glad that you joined us here today. Our theme for 2023 is Living Out Loud. This month, our focus is curiosity as a superpower. The title of our talk today is Living Curiosity Out Loud, given by our spiritual director, Charlene Banks. We are so glad that you joined us today. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like to have included later in the service when we provide our spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. We invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we officially begin our service with this video.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless the sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
And so it is. Now we have our lovely Reverend Charlene Banks with today's meditation.
Hi, thank you, Renee, so much for your beautiful introduction. And I love that you just claiming that Reverend for me early. Love it. So everyone, welcome to our space, the sacred space that has been so beautifully opened. We are going to go into a meditation that is going to differ a little bit from what you may be used to here. For I am one that really loves it when a meditator can get me to that space and then hold that silence, where then I can breathe into that oneness. And so for the first minute or two, I'll take you in. And I'm going to leave you there. I may give you some audible signals to stay there or to go deeper, but you'll find this a little different, and I'd love feedback afterwards and how you experienced it. So come with me now on this journey. Take a nice deep grounding breath and exhale. Allowing all thoughts of anything that came prior to this moment to fall away. What remains is an awareness of the breath. And only the breath. Ideas or thoughts that come may pass by as we return our minds to the breath. Body is relaxed. Still. Back to the breath. We focus there. Inhale. endure. As we end this session of mindfulness and focused awareness on our breath, we know that at any time throughout our day, we can take a moment and return to this place where the nothingness and the everything and the all that is right where we are. So I release this into the law, knowing that everything is well, as we just say, and so it is. And now we have a wonderful sharing from Leah. Let me stop sharing my screen and focus on Miss Leah. Just 1 second. If I could find it. Where are you? It's such a crazy interface, huh? Here we go. Oh, thank you for helping meet people online. Hi, Leah.
Good morning to you. In keeping with the month's theme of curiosity, the title of the song is a question. What will you make? At the start of any given day, there is mystery available. There's a game waiting for an open heart to say yes. Here I am, I'll play. And if you're smart, you listen to the way, and all the misery that held us down will let it fade. Let it be outshined by the simple spark of a life that's waiting to be made. That's waiting to be made. What will we make of this day? What will you keep? What will you change? And what will you see? What will you believe? What will you make of your dreams? Will you keep sleeping? Or will you awaken and decide what you will make? At the start of any given day, there is history and poetry. There is a play, but you're not in the audience. You are the star. So get out there and say what you make. What will you make of this day? What will you keep and what will you change? What will you see? What will you believe? What will you make of your dreams? Will you keep sleeping? Or will you awaken and decide what you will make? This day, what will you keep? What will you change? And what will you see? What will you believe? What will you make of your dreams? Will you keep sleeping? Or will you awaken and decide
that was amazing. I was taking notes of the lyrics. I love that song because it leads right into, and it's funny, Leah and I did not discuss this, but it leads right into my first topic of this talk. Did you hear the lyric? She said, "What will you keep sleeping or will you awake? And what will you make of this day?" So I love it. Thank you, Leah, for your and the music. It just picks me up and moves me to another spot. I just love it. So what was I going to talk about first? Definitely Plato's cave analogy. Okay, so Plato, you know, the guy from 2,500 years ago, he had an allegory of human consciousness. And he said that he used this cave as an example. And he said, humankind is like people who are strapped into or chained into a cave with their backs to the light and facing a wall. And they grew up that way. They don't even have a reason to question this. On the wall, however, there are shadows of what's going on outside the cave. And so they started to make sense of these shadows. They started to give names to the shadows. They don't know that there's actual things that are they don't know the reality that they're watching shadows against the wall of the cave. They think that those shadows are the real thing. That's the analogy or the allegory that Plato said. So apparently in this allegory, one person breaks free of the chains and is able to walk outside of the cave. And first thing that happens is they're struck by all the light because, oh my God, light. I mean, I've been in a cave all my life. I don't even know what light is. And then realizes that the shadows that are being cast inside the cave are shadows of something else, that's not, the shadows themselves are not real, but they're a side effect of what's really going on. So after he realizes that, he goes back in the cave and says, guys, you'll never believe it. What you see is just like a false representation of the real thing, which is outside the cave. And they're like, man, if you don't sit down and shut up. And he's like, dude, how am I going to explain this? I can't find the words to explain the fact that I've seen the truth about what's going on outside. And what we're seeing here is a false representation of that truth. And the allegory goes on and on. So in my thinking about this, and the reason I brought this up first is not only because I'm taking philosophy this quarter. That's one of the reasons, yes. And every time I learn something, I turn around and want to teach it right away. I also think about this song, Will You Keep Sleeping? Now, some of us don't know we're asleep. And those of us who don't know we're asleep are not here on this call, right? They're not in this session. They don't even know that CSL exists because, well, they could be in another level of life doing something else. Once we awaken, the spiritual part of this is that we realize we're living in a world and the things that we see around us, the situations, the events, the so-called problems that we have are not real. Now, I'm not going to say that, oh, your aching back isn't real. Stand up straight and walk. No, it's not what I'm saying. But what I do want to tell you is that we've been born into a society that has a certain set of so-called rules and realities and things that we're supposed to believe in. And as long as we keep looking at that as if it's real, and we don't take a moment and think about, be curious about, ask questions about where these ideas came from, then we are also going to be chained to that particular point of view, to that particular direction. It could be looking at a wall and watching some shadows and calling them different things and making up stories. When we become curious, we ask questions. Hey, why is it that can I not get free of these chains? What if I move a little bit? Well, you're not supposed to move. It says you're not supposed to wiggle around and break the chains. Really? Why not? What would happen if I move a little bit? What would happen if I started questioning some of these so-called rules? Oh, women aren't supposed to be Like men? Wait, what do you mean like men? Authoritative? We're not supposed to know what we want. Start asking questions. Oh, Black people, we're not supposed to be uppity. Uppity, what does that mean? Ask questions, because every time some barrier has been broken through and some movement has been made by either the gay community, the Black community, women, and trans people, anyone, that is because somebody got curious and said, why is it like that? Does it have to be that way? Do I have to live with these limitations, or do I get to be bigger? Now, that is where we're starting. And I love this whole talk. I'm going to try to compress it in 20 minutes because, oh my gosh, I have so much to tell you. I've been away for 2 weeks and it's been a lot. So I'm going to compress it. But the first thing I want to talk about is I'll show you this from Ernest Holmes. This quote right here, we're going to start here and I'll take you through a journey with me. Ernest Holmes in How to Use the Science of Mind, page 48, says, the universe can only give us what we take. Say accept, what we claim. And since our taking is a thing of consciousness, the universe can only give us what we're aware of. So I'll say it again, the universe can only give us what we take. And since our taking is a thing of consciousness, the universe can only give us what we're aware of. So I ask a question now, if I feel as if I'm lacking, I know that it's not a problem with the source because the source is infinite. If I feel I am lacking in any area, there must be a limitation in my consciousness. I must think that I only can have this much. If I'm lacking, if I feel like I'm lacking, then the first thing I need to do is change my consciousness about that. And so I need to start being aware of something bigger, being aware of where I want to go. And we have to look at our awareness and get our bucket bigger. I say get a bigger bucket because in a lot of science mind classes, they say the universe, the source is like the ocean. And we are like people who would like some of that water from the ocean. So we creep up to the ocean with a little thimble and we get a little bit of supply from that vast amount. And then we complain that we don't have enough. It's our job to go get a bigger bucket and arrive at that shore and scoop up more. The universe is there for us. It will supply all of our needs, but we need to raise our consciousness, get a bigger bucket to be able to hold what it is we want. So step one, what do you want? At the beginning of this year, we all sat down and we did a vision board. If you haven't done your vision board, it's not too late. Get onto canva.com and throw some images together on a blank palette and print that thing out. That vision board is going to be the bigger container. And I need to say that you need to shoot for the stars, shoot high, because you will reach it. All right. So get a bigger bucket, use visioning, use vision boards. And then there's a course I'm taking called Noble Purpose, where if a lot of us are wondering, what's our purpose in life? What are we supposed to be doing? And so for homework, I'm supposed to teach a workshop. So guess what I'll be announcing at the end of the talk. There'll be a workshop coming up where you get to find out what you're here for. A lot of us don't know what kind of the core of our being. We've been so conditioned to don't be too loud, don't be too much, don't be who you are. And then we're wondering why we're disappointed with where our life has gone. What if we took off all those layers and got back to the core of who we are and led from our core with confidence? How would the universe react? How would people react if we were really excited about who we are and what we want? Now, one cautionary note, there are some people who think that they don't want to do anything about anything if it's work. It has to be fun or else they're not going to do it. I mean, I feel you. I feel like, yeah, if I'm not excited about something, why do it? But be careful there. If you have a vision that says, I want to be this, and you know that in your soul that you're designed to be this thing, if it takes work and if the work is hard, the work is worth it. So don't shy away from day-to-day difficulties if what you're doing gets you to that bigger vision of yourself. So again, it all starts with you sitting down with yourself saying, what is it I want for myself? What are my lofty goals? If you could have anything, what would it be? And then do it. Do what is indicated next to get you there. And it's not always going to be easy. And it sometimes is not going to be that much fun, like paperwork. My story about that is this, me, Charsoft Consulting. I am an IT business that does blah, blah, blah. I could give you the spiel. And I filled out all the paperwork. It took months to fill out all the paperwork. My vision to do business directly with the government, lofty and possible. However, the paperwork is a slog. Fine, I did it. I suffered through. It's not easy. And if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? So I got my thing and I'm happy I've got my badges. I can do business with the government. And now I'm waiting for the phone to ring. The phone's not ringing. Well, I'm on all these lists and I have all these credentials now. Isn't the business supposed to come get me? No, it turns out I have to get up and put on my bun that's professional, not my afro, but my bun. And then, the business dress and high heels. COVID got me not used to my high heels. I put back on my high heels and I got on that airplane and I went to a conference. This is my first trip away. This is the first week I was gone. I'm in New Orleans, kind of scared. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I have that lofty goal and it's available to me. And look at all the other people that are doing this. A couple thousand of other companies just like mine are at this conference. And so I'm kind of excited. And I really believe in what our company does. And so I start going in. And from the moment I checked my bag, the universe was giving me what I called golden breadcrumbs. You've heard me say this before. If you want something, if you know that you were put on this earth to do this one thing, then claim it, go forward, and there will be little indicators, little nods, little hints, little things in your path that approve, that give you the energy to keep going. And I met someone at the baggage check. I said I was going to New Orleans. He goes, you're going to the 8A conference, aren't you? I'm like, I am. Nice to meet you. And that was a major player. And he knew people and they knew people. I met and sat with the people that are running it. It's pretty awesome. And then first day, I see this thing. I'm like, okay, all right, I can do this. There's this seminar. Who said it best? Here's how to pitch your company in 90 seconds. And at the end, there'll be a grand prize of $1,500, second prize of $1,000, third prize of $500. And I'm like, okay, learn to pitch. So I sat in, learned how to pitch my company, 90 seconds. And it's so funny. I didn't think I would be a contestant, but for some reason, I'm sitting after kind of practicing with the coach. I'm sitting there and everybody's talking, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there. I've got my ears closed, my eyes on my paper, and I'm practicing and I'm practicing and I'm timing myself with my smartwatch and I'm practicing. And then they chose me to go up there. And now I realize, oh my gosh, the universe is saying yes. So now, worst case scenario, I lose, but all these people now know what my company does. I don't see the problem. So then I watch my competitors, they go up and they're good. And there's one person she's like me, but like on steroids, which is weird because I thought oh my God, this lady, she read from her paper. So I said, well, I can't beat her unless I leave my paper at my desk. So I went up there and mind you, I had sat there and I memorized it, right? So I stood up there and in 90 seconds, I did my thing. I did it so completely me that even at the end, I had everybody completing my sentence because I did a thing where I said the quote and everybody knew it. So they all completed it with me. And I was like, And everybody's like, and everyone's telling me when I sat down, oh, you won, you won. And I'm like, no, no, no. So it turns out I almost won. I got second place. Oh, dude, I got second place. And if I had just said my company name 2 more times, I would have got first place. It's because I forgot to say Charsoft, blah, blah, blah. I kept saying we, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm not going to yell at them. I'm happy. $1,000 that I didn't think I was going to get. Plus, everybody heard my speech and everybody was like, you should have won. That was robbery. And I'm like, no, no, no. I'm grateful that I'm even here and that I even got something. And then I thought, all right, universe, great. I won a spiel thing. Let's turn this into contracts. And darn it, if after that, people didn't hit me up because of the thing I said on the stage about the thing that we do. And it's what they all said was, it's your energy. It's your energy and your excitement about it. It makes us excited about it. And we want some of that. Thought, oh my gosh. So the next week, it was the Vista conference for CSL. And you see where this is going, because on the plane ride home, the synchronicities kept going, because even on the plane ride home, I sat next to one of the people who does contracts for one of the people I want to do contracts with. But anyway, I come home and I'm thinking, so this is pretty amazing. The universe says yes. And you have to follow the little golden breadcrumbs. You can't say, okay, universe, I want XYZ, but I don't want to work for it. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want it to be hard. Well, I'm sorry, but if it's a lofty goal, it's going to be a little bit hard. But I thought about this center and us, right? This community. And I thought, CSL Leesburg, it's so beautiful. It's so loving. And how can I make it so that every time I think about it, I'm not a little worried? Because I'm a little worried. Sometimes I go, oh, I don't have enough help for me. Or there's not the little worry ideas. And I thought, what am I creating when I think of CSL Leesburg? I know what it can be, but I can't build it by myself. I mean, and I'm not saying I don't have help. You guys do help. But I'm like, I know it could be even more if everybody owns it, if everybody feels this like I feel. So the universe said, okay, Shar, we're going to do a seminar especially for you. At the Vista conference, there was a session called Pivot to Abundance. I said, pivot to what now? And the pivot to abundance, what they're saying is that, and it's funny because who showed up for this? Ministers, practitioners, and people like me, spiritual directors, and of course, lay people, mostly ministers. Here's the idea. When we have something that's a little bit hard or a challenge, we tend to think of the thing as a challenge. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. If we think of it as a challenge, then the universe says, okay, challenge coming your way. So I said to myself, this is the answer. This is the thing, because I know I can get excited about my company because I'm in complete control of my company. I could sell it and I know what we're selling. But the church, it's a little different. I mean, I'm not in complete control and I can't create. But can I? So this is the part where the leader of the course, he said, here, he gave an example, and I'll give you this example. Let's all try this together. Think of something that you're a little bit worried about, something that's kind of a problem, whether it's your kid doesn't have a job and you want them to have a job, or you have a money situation where it doesn't seem like there's enough money coming in. What are we doing? Or in my case, I want our center to grow, but I don't know. I'm wondering how is that going to happen? Now, if we think of an idea about that, think about a thing. Everybody have it in your mind? The thing that's hard? All right. Now, ask yourself, I'm going to ask you, what do you want it to be like? What does the feeling, if everything were fine, what feeling would come forth? Is it joy? Is it happiness? Is it connection? Is it peaceful? What feeling comes up if if things were perfectly fine in that area? I'll wait for you to just notate that. And so for me, it was faith and trust that everything's fine. And so then he asked the question, what percentage of time when you think about this situation, do you think faith and trust everything's fine? Is it 10%, 20%? When you think about it now, since everybody had questions, wait, what do you mean when I think about it? All right, during the day, the number of times that you think about that situation, how many of those times is it related to joy and trust and faith? Or is it based on the other thing, fear and worry? And so most people say 10 to 20%, if that. And he says, all right, so all you do is make a note. And he gave us a handout, which it looks like a little calendar for 30 days. You're noting your percentage. That's all you're doing. Every day at the end of the day, you know what percentage of the time were you thinking the thing you want to think about that? What percentage of the time? 10%? Fine. Don't judge it. Write it down. The next day, what percentage of the time did you think about that situation with the high thoughts, the high vibrational thoughts? Every day you track it, it will go up because that's how these things work. When you track it, it changes. He says that you will notice some shift in the circumstance when you get to 50%. He says that the author is escaping me. So if anybody else was in that session, just type in that author's name because I can't remember. When you get to 75%, it will shift even more. And if you could get he said, think about what it would be like if you could get to 95% of the time thinking those high thoughts about that situation. How would that make you feel? And of course, everybody was like jumping through the valley, the lilies, right? You're just happy doing that Snoopy dance with your nose up, right? If we could get our consciousness even over 50%, it would change. And so I love this. I love the fact that when you track something, it does change and that we are going for like a 95%. And that's the work. The work itself is the consciousness that changes the situation. Because the universe can only give us what we take, and our taking is a thing of consciousness. If we change our consciousness, we change our mental equivalent, what we think we can have. And then what we think we can have becomes available because of the law of attraction. That which we're seeking is seeking expression through us. If we start seeking it, it starts seeking us. The law of attraction. There's no faking it. There's no, let me just say some magic words and continue to worry. No, nope. And what's really crazy is that all of us, ministers, practitioners, lay people, spiritual directors, we're all in this room going, oh, that's right. How did I forget that? The newbies, the people who come to our teaching and take their first class are demonstrating more than some of the ministers. Why? Because we forgot. That's all. We start thinking that things in front of us are real again. We start believing those shadows on the wall again. We forgot. And my question to the others in the room was, why do we keep forgetting? It's kind of annoying. Can't we just remember? But that's the practice. And I feel like maybe it's part of the universal design. We're supposed to need each other. We're supposed to have a community like CSL Leesburg, where there are some newbies that demonstrate on the spot and they remind us. There are some of us that don't take any classes and wonder, I don't know, why they haven't moved forward, or they could not take classes and still move forward. It's all about consciousness. We bring ourselves what we ourselves need. And when we see those little golden breadcrumbs shining, that's just really your interest. When you're really interested in something and you go, I want to learn more. And you start Googling some golden breadcrumb, follow that, go that way, do that thing. And life is trying to meet you where you are. And it's just saying yes. So if we finish up, and of course I'm out of time as usual, here I will share with you a couple of more of our wonderful quotes. In Ernest Holmes' How to Use the Science of Mind, page 4, we are at liberty to choose what manner of life we shall live. We should feel that in this choice, we are backed by all the will or the purpose and all the law of the universe. When we decide, the whole universe backs us up. Whatever we decide, the universe says yes. And when we bring in the notion of the imagination, we begin to discover a whole new sense of God. The notion of the divine imagination brings out the creativity of God. The creativity is the supreme passion of God. And finally, here, where I will leave us, you and I are here in order to enable the world to live more amply, with greater vision, with a finer spirit of hope and achievement. You are here to enrich the world. And that was Woodrow Wilson. So with that, I hope that something in there connected with you. Let's go into prayer. There's only one divine life, divine power, this infinite potentiality. It is the field of everything, the field of beingness. From there, we each have sprung. And it doesn't stop there. It continues to be our source if we allow it, if we simply turn our attention to that infinite potentiality. And so I speak my word that we, each and every one of us here, are aware of our divine potential, our divine ability to express who we really are. We get to peel away anything that is unlike our true essence, our true core self. And we allow that to shine through. We show up in the world speaking from our core sense of who we are, just trusting that the universe will unfold and will meet us right where we are. I speak my word that everyone here raises their vibration, raises their container, expands their ability to hold good. And that in a second, in a moment, instantly, life rushes forward to fill the space. The universe does not like a void. And when we expand, it fills that space. And so right here, right now, I speak my word that in the sense, anybody who has a sense of lack in health, in relationships, in wealth, in any sort of well-being, peace, joy, fulfillment, any sense of lack in any area, I speak my word that right now there is a container that is growing, that is expanding, that is allowing itself to be fulfilled by spirit. Anything unlike the health, the wealth, the wholeness, and the wellness, well-beingness, anything unlike it is simply false and is replaced by the truth. We allow shadows to be what they are as we turn ourselves toward the light of the truth that we internally decide. We choose our life. And we open our eyes when we are free and we are clear, and we allow ourselves to see these golden shimmering breadcrumbs, these little thoughts, these ideas, and these creativities that bring us forward onto the path of our oneness. So I know all is well. I know everyone is reaching their highest possibility, as is CSL Leesburg as a whole. We are imbued with an amazing community with membership that is vibrant and inclusive and totally expressing their uniqueness. I release my word knowing that everything I've said, automatically the universe says absolutely yes. It is unfolding as I speak, so I simply let it be. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. And Leah shall take us away.
Shar. I would say your entire share was a golden breadcrumb for me. The timing couldn't have been more spot on, and I'm thrilled to hear your successes and your experiences wielding this energy. So thank you for being a beacon. This song is one I wrote for my little sister. It's called Among Stars, like we all are. How did you ever make it? How did you plow your way through? Did you ever get lost? So darn tired you forgot what you first set out to do. Would you please tell me how? Did you ever take it? Maybe somehow you knew. If life tries to make you can't be a winner, just remember that means you as you shine on the world. Like you shine just for me. Be who you are. And remember that star is a light that the whole world needs to see. Be not afraid. Dry up your tears. Live for your faith, not for your fear. Remember you are among the stars. And I believe we will make it when we know that we will. There's so much love in you, and so many who seek simple kindnesses. You will be there, filled right here and right now. It's glories of heaven. Don't forget who you are. You shine like perfection. You think no one sees. Remember I do, and I always will know you shine. You shine. So just be who you are. And remember that star is the light that the whole world needs to see. Be not afraid, dry up your tears. Live for your faith, never for your fears. Remember you are, come near or go far. Remember you are, always know who you are. Remember you are among the stars. Yes, we are. We are among the stars. 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 Say it with me. We are among the stars. We are among the stars. We are among the stars. We are among the stars.
Thank you, Leah. And now is the time to bless the donations that are shared today. At CLS Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. So we are a tithing community. The donations shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Your donation helps our center, our CSL home organization, as well as organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. Please look at our screen. There are many ways to give. It's easy to find a way that works best for you. You may also go to our website, cslleesburg.org, and click the donate button. That's what I did earlier. That's what I did. We thank you for your support. No matter how you're giving, take that gift physically or mentally, place it over your heart, and join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I'm a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. As we end the sacred time together, let us once again place our hands over our hearts and say, I am love. Point to someone near you or to the members or guests on the screen and say, you are love.
You are love.
Yeah, everyone can unmute if you'd like, because now we're going to put our hands up in the air for what they call love sprinkles and say, it's all love.
Love.
All sprinkled around. All right, well, if you can stay for a few more minutes, please feel free to join us as we share our pearls from our lovely session with future Reverend Charlene Banks. It was fantastic. So we'll talk about the little golden nuggets from our service that spoke to your heart and minds. If you're a visitor, please stay and introduce yourself. We'd love the opportunity to officially meet you. And if you have to leave us, that's cool. We know that you will have a day filled with love, joy, and blessings. Thank you so much for joining us.